All right, some breaking news coming in. Iran has said it will charge ships looking to cross the Strait of Hormuz directly, contradicting US President Donald Trump's claim of a toll-free Hormuz even beyond the 60-day period of negotiations. Iranian-led negotiator Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf, after the 14-point MOU was digitally signed by Trump and his Iranian counterparts Masoud Pezeshkian, said that the Strait of Hormuz will not return to pre-war conditions. Iran has the right to sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, and of course we will receive a fee for our services. Atul Ranjan is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Atul, if you can hear me?
Yes, Vince, I can.
All right. Well, this seems to be in direct and complete defiance of what Donald Trump had said in the past, that it would be a free strait.
Well, absolutely. I think it's an eyebrow-raising statement by the Iranian negotiator that the Strait of Hormuz won't be returning to the pre-war condition after the 60-day period of the Memorandum of Understanding expires. Now, the very spirit of the Memorandum of Understanding, or the key clauses of the MOU, was that the Strait of Hormuz would continue to be a free passage, and no sort of taxation or no sort of any any sort of military activities would be observed in the area. But now what the Iranian negotiator is clearly mentioning is that after 60 days, when the Memorandum of Understanding ends, the free period ends, Iran would be imposing a tariff or taxes on the shipping. Now, this is quite crucial given the fact that at least 20% of the global oil supply and the energy supply is passes through Strait of Hormuz. So that would essentially mean that for the longer term as well, prices of energy and oil would be higher. But as of now, what does the U.S. How does the U.S. react to it? How does the President Donald Trump react to it? It will be quite interesting to see, given the fact that the Trump, the other day as well pointed out that the Strait of Hormuz would remain open, and as well warning Iran as well that if there is any violation from Iranian side on the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, they would again go back to bombing Iran. So that is, given that statement from Donald Trump and now from the Iranian negotiator, it will be interesting to see how does the U.S. react to it and how does the world would react to it, given the fact that everybody across the world heaved a sigh of relief post the Memorandum of Understanding was signed.
All right. Thank you for that update. All right, let's move on. Ahead of the NEET-UG 2026 re-examination, the central government has rolled out extensive security and logistical measures to ensure a fair and transparent examination process. CRPF and CISF personnel have been deployed at examination centers, while the Indian Air Force has been tasked with the secure transportation of question papers. Cyber agencies are also monitoring online platforms for leaks and misinformation. Education Minister Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan has held a review meeting to assess preparations for the re-examination. Meanwhile, in a post on X, the NTA urged aspirants to stay calm, trust their preparation and not be swayed by rumours. Well, NEET has been, if I can use the term, bone of contention for a multiple number of reasons because of the leak that happened in the first week of May. We will obviously discuss what this re-examination means and what does this also entail going forward in terms of what more can be done to secure our educational pillars to an extent where tech and governance and administration work so closely together that there is no such leak in the future. Let's talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the platform from top is Mr. Satyajit Datta, Senior Vice President, Business Development, Innovative View, India Limited, is joining us. Mr. Igjot Singh, NEET aspirant, is also with us on the program. Air Commander Rana Sanjeev Mehendi Ratta, former Indian Air Force officer, is joining us on the program as well. Mr. Mukesh Verma, NEET faculty, is also with us on the program to talk more about this. We also will be joined by Mr. Badri Narayan, who's the Vice Chancellor of the Tata Institute of Social Sciences momentarily. But first up, let me rope in Mr. Satyajit Datta into this conversation. Satyajit, appreciate you taking out the time on a short notice and speaking with us. Well, the re-examination is happening, but of course, from your point of view, this is something, first of all, that should not have happened. There needs to be an edifice, there needs to be, this very robust infrastructure in and around our educational ecosystem. This re-examination, of course, is being looked at and being done in a way which makes it extremely airtight. But how do you think going forward, the system can improve itself, and how can private institutes also come into the picture and assist the government?
Hey, good evening, Vineet, and good evening to all my fellow speakers. As we are talking about a re-examination, we all definitely understand what this re-examination means and what it costs to our country and to all aspirants. But again, when we are talking of an examination of this scale, okay, a NEET-UG entrance examination, we can't really depend, Vineet, on post-exam investigation. Let me be very clear. It has to be designed in a manner that, the whole examination infrastructure has to be designed from candidate authentication and secure center operations right to live monitoring, in a controlled, environment, rather controlled logistics and real-time incident escalation. I am talking, this is exactly what we need to do on the 21st, or these are the preparations to be done, and I'm sure that the government and the required stakeholders are doing it that way, because we can't afford to do a post-mortem for an examination of this scale and the kind of importance it holds to all those 24 lakh aspirants. And it definitely, the way to go is, if we are talking about, okay, we are all geared up for the 21st, but as we have already made an announcement that from next year, it has to be a CBT. That's the only way to secure it further. So we need to build, that permanent infrastructure, government-controlled permanent infrastructure to deliver a CBT examination of this scale and credibility that it holds in our country.
You're absolutely right. In fact, what you have stated is perhaps, the perennial truth that computer-based testing is all about. Let me also rope in Mr. Badri Narayan, educationist, into this conversation as well. Mr. Narayan, appreciate you speaking with us, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, very much. I can hear you.
Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. As Satyajit said, that, technology infusion is the only way forward to make sure that lapses and leaks and latency, which is associated with a number of these examinations, is done away with. What is your opinion, sir, considering the fact that what happened on the 3rd of May was not only a big jolt to this to the students, but it was also a wake-up call for the system?
Yeah, I think I fully agree with Satyajit about this technological intervention in the entire process. Actually, this is only way to save the various kinds of infiltration of the greeds and the lalach and the low in this entire system, because you have to deal with the human, and human has a lot of problems. They are so only way to trust on the technological foolproof system, and that will save us from this kind of the kind of paper leak or any kind of leak, and it will make a system that is a foolproof system. And although there are a lot of dangers also in this digital and the technological system, but that the experts are also very good in dealing with interference by others in the digital sphere. So digital sphere, we need to be strengthened, and we need to be very alert, make a very alert digital system, technological system, and that system will save us from this kind of the happenings and the kind of interference.
And so you think, as Satyajit also pointed out, that the computer-based testing system is something that should not only be peculiar and particular to NEET, but it is something which has to encompass all the examination throughout the country.
Yes, indeed. I think already many examinations are doing that, and NEET is a huge, is a very large scale examination, and if they will successfully use it, that will help us a lot. And also all the examinations, we should try to evolve this kind of system so that any kind of pilferage, any kind of the leak can be checked and controlled, and because whenever you mobilize people, and people have lot of problems, anything happen at any time, because you can't control the human minds and the heart and the man, jisko kehte hain na man, but you can control the machines. So machines will save you in one way or another.
And the moment we talk about, Vinit, just a
Sure,
minute.
sure. Go on, Satyajit.
The moment we talk of machines, okay, this is critical. We are all understanding machines and processes only can govern humans. However, the country now need to really put their thoughts together to appreciate and understand the importance of having or building exclusive permanent examination infrastructure in the country. We can't afford to continue conducting CBT examinations in those so-called fragmented centers available in our country. We need to come together as a country, and we have to build exclusive permanent CBT infrastructure catering to all these high-stake examinations, so that we don't end up in any such embarrassing situation ever again in the country.
You're quite right, and Satyajit, there's also some space to be given for redressal of the kind of reactions that students have had when something untoward like an exam cancellation that took place in the first week of May as well. There were suicides. People in fact went into depression. There were visits to the psychiatric wards in several hospitals around the country. What do you think can be done around that as well? First of all, precaution is better than cure. But if there is something untoward, what do you think the system can do to absorb that?
See, as I said, first of all, CBT is a decision that the country has made, which is the only decision that was due for such high-stake examinations. So that point number one is sorted. Now it is all about the mindset, okay? We might have audit trails and we might have all processes and machines, but the whole government or we as a system, as an examination ecosystem, needs to appreciate that we can't continue doing postmortems. We have to be proactive in our approach rather than being reactive once there's a fiasco. So that is why I said that we have to think through for having permanent infrastructure with AI coming in. I don't want to get into the AI side of it, but I'm trying to say we have to have everything right from candidate authentication, monitoring the center operations, live monitoring, and having controlled environment for every step, right from the candidate walking into a center till the time he or she moves out of that center. So the only way is having a proactive approach, and we can't afford to doing postmortems again and again. And that is why the need of these full-time dedicated machines is what is important. We as a country appreciate that machines will run humans better, or machines can make humans more efficient. I agree. But we need to make these machines available full-time. We need to make these machines available exclusively for this examination ecosystem, which is huge in our country.
You're quite right, Satyajit. In fact, some of the points that you have made, they perhaps will echo very deeply within the kind of systemic changes that need to be made to accommodate all that has gone wrong. Let me also open Mr. Mukesh Verma, NEET faculty, into this. Mr. Verma, you heard Mr. Badri Narayan, you've heard Satyajit as well. What is your take on how this system can be improved to avoid what has happened in the past?
First of all, Vineet, I want to say that the first thing that Mrs. Satyajit Datta has said, it is perfectly, I also perfectly agree with him. We need a permanent infrastructure, because without a permanent infrastructure, we are conducting the exam in another engineering colleges, and that is again a risky thing. So, but we must have to focus on this point, that what is the source of paper leak? Actually, paper was leaked by the paper setters. This is a very important thing that we have to note. Paper was leaked by the paper setters. the person who has the responsibility to make the paper, they have leaked the paper. So we have also be conscious in this point that at the place where the paper is making, there must be use of AI. There must be, we have to make at least 50,000 questions or thousands of questions must be there, and let the AI to pick the questions for each and every system. And this is the only solution that I can say at this time, because when the paper setters are starting selling the papers, then it is very bad. And the students are in very drastic situations. The students who are able to score 700 by their own, presently they are in a state of mind where they can't think whether they can give another exam another or not. And they again have a mind something there are something rumors in the market that paper is out. I know I counseled all of them that there is no paper leak, and again it is not going to be in future. But the students are very afraid. They are in different kind of dilemma. So we have to address them also. And in a previous interview, I also asked that, yeah, it's my urge that Mr. Prime Minister must have to address the children. They must have to talk with the children that, bacho, everything is fine. We are conducting it and they will do it possible.
Mr. Verma,
Yes,
appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Let me also open with Air Commodore Rana Sanjeev Mehdi into this conversation. Sir, I hope you can hear me. Sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. Sir, you've heard all the other panelists. What can the system do to fix this recurring issue of leaks, this recurring issue of examinations being foiled for various reasons, predominant of those being it being available to a few people who take advantage of it by selling it on platforms like Telegram?
Hello, good evening. I'll tell you one thing. In this country, there are many organizations, including armed forces, who are already conducting CBT for many years now. And there is a provision. Everything is available, all the provisions are there, private sector as well as government sector. Only thing is you have to have the will to understand that this kind of examination, which involves millions of students, and it involves their welfare, it involves their mental health, it involves a lot of things. In such a case, you have to make a case wherein you have one umbrella and everything functions under one umbrella. And thereafter, you pursue it and take it up. It is not that you start CBT tomorrow and you will not have any problems. You will have initial problems. You will have to sort out those problems. But the fact is, in this country, everything is already available and working and being used. So we'll have to put our act together and work out a system where you have one umbrella, you have a dedicated team, starting not only from the examination hall, starting from when the student registers, and he has to have a 24 hours helpline all the time available till the time his result is out and things are over. From very beginning to the end, every student has to have a 24/7 helpline from the system. All these things can only happen when you have one particular dedicated umbrella, which is in the government of India. And the part is, government wants to do it. The Prime Minister is trying to monitor himself now since it is a re-exam. You're asking Indian Air Force to take the paper so that they reach in time because it's a monsoon period and you don't want it to exchange too many hands and you want security sensitive things. And it is time sensitive. So a very good decision, well thought of decision that we don't want to take any chances, especially so because it's monsoon and more so because it is the second time the NEET is being conducted. And the sad part is it is not the first time that such a thing has happened. Whether the paper leaks at the translator's level or setter's level or in some other way, the point remains the same. The student suffers. Good part is, yes, you realize that the examination has question papers have been leaked and you have cancelled the exam. That should be appreciated. But imagine the kind of amount of money it's going to take and amount of concern it has for all the students, and we are talking of 20 lakh students here or plus. So all we need to do is, we already have the systems in place in the country, put them all together, and it's not that you can have an examination hall across the country and all the systems and the machines, and they will work once in a year. Those things are not practical. What we need to do is we got to put our system in such a way that we conduct most or all of the exams on those systems so that they're all the time being utilized and used, and financially also they make sense. Security wise also they make sense because it needs a lot of staff also. And you got to initiate right from the registration level where a student's got the help all the time available so that he doesn't go under any mental pressure. Regardless of what goes wrong, things can still go wrong. It's not that. But when a student gets a clear-cut image and the picture of what is happening, it doesn't bother him much. He knows somebody is looking at it. You need to have 24/7 operations rooms when the operations are on, when the examinations are on. All those things need to be done in real earnest by a dedicated team. And of course, the secrecy, the security, and of course the dedication of the staff is the last word that you cannot deny, and you cannot change it for anything else.
You're quite right. So I agree with whatever you have said, and it's important to analyze that. Why do we need the military to transport these papers? This is a civilian operation, and it should be done in a seamless fashion that does not involve our forces, at least, because that's what happens in other countries as well. Let me also rope in Igjot Singh, who's a NEET aspirant, into this conversation. Igjot, thank you for speaking with us. Can you hear me?
Thank you, sir.
Igjot, what are your apprehensions, if any, about the NEET examination? Obviously, there is no chance that it's going to get cancelled again. But tell us about your experience so far. Are you afraid in any way when it comes to this examination?
So actually, this was my first attempt that I gave of NEET examination. I gave my boards, then consecutive examinations, then it was NEET. So before 3rd of May, we had a mentality that we need to study and all. But after 3rd of May, like the examination, on the day of examination, I was very scared. And I gave my best and I was having a decent score. But after 3 to 5 days, when I got to know that the exam got leaked and unfortunately it is going to be cancelled, then it was a really mentally shocked back. Not only to me, but to the most of the students whose examination went well. I'll tell you personally of my friends also, they have just lost the will to study now, even honestly telling. Because giving an examination again is really a setback mentally for the students, because we have given all that we could before 3rd of May, right? But now, since it got cancelled, now we have to re-prepare it. And now, not only me, but on the reels and everything, personally, even I've talked to my friends, they have lost the will to study. Like they're saying that, what is the point of studying if the examination is getting leaked again and again? Also, there are some rumors that it is again leaked on Telegram. I've seen some videos, because we are Gen Zs, so we are socially active generation, right? So we have seen some videos where the videos consisting that they were tearing the sheets of paper and they were showing that this is actually the real paper, and they've been selling it for 80,000 some rupees. I've genuinely seen that, right? So mentally it has been really a setback for us, and we have been trying all again. Like we have been rebuilding ourselves to prepare again for the NEET examination that is to be held 3 days after.
You're quite right. And what do you think happens, if a student is not satisfied with his performance or his result a second time around, when the first time the attempt did not happen at all? Do you think that also has some sort of a psychological weight on students?
I certainly that indeed I believe that, because psychology, I also have heard that there are many suicides, like a girl recently suicided because of the NEET examination. So that is really a psychological setback, and it has been a drastic traumatic experience for us, because preparing ourselves once again mentally to giving one of the most difficult and one of the most crucial examinations of the country, which is medical examination. So it is really a setback, and like we have to regain all the strengths that we could to reappear for this examination.
Igjot, I appreciate you joining us, as well as I appreciate everybody else who took out the time and spoke to us. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here and voicing your opinion. Appreciate it. All right, some breaking news trickling in now. Well, Pakistan television is reporting that the planned visit of Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif to Switzerland has been cancelled. However, no reason has been specified for this as of now, and the Swiss Ministry of Foreign Affairs had earlier said on Thursday that talks between United States and Iran would continue tomorrow, with the mediators including Pakistan and Qatar to attend the discussions over the implementation of the agreement. All right, what does this mean for the MOU, the big MOU that has been signed between Iran and the United States? Does this signal any kind of a rift in terms of the expectations which have been laid out in the MOU? Remember that Pakistan has been an instrumental party when it comes to the negotiations that have been taking place between Iran and the United States. On this, Hina, what does this mean for the negotiations which are still not staunchly concluded between the United States and Iran?
So we need essentially what we're looking at is 60 days of further talks between Iran and United States. Earlier we saw reports coming out and especially Switzerland's foreign ministry also put out a statement saying that there will be talks happening between both the nations in Switzerland, and that will be hosted by Pakistan and several other nations. But as per the latest reports that we are getting from Pakistani media outlets is that Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has postponed the visit. In fact, some of the reports also pointing out that the visit has been cancelled altogether. But what we need to understand is that Pakistan has been saying that it is the so-called mediator in the talks that have been taking place between both the nations. But now with the visit being cancelled, the question essentially remains that is Pakistan playing any sort of role, or is it just, playing the hashtag PACO, which is Pakistan's chickens out, which is something that we've been talking about right from the start. So this is the new information that we're getting, especially the spokesperson Musharraf Zaidi has also said that the proposed visit has been postponed. If you talk about the reason, there has not been any specified reason so far as to why the visit has been cancelled. So of course we'll be closely tracking this story as the talks are due to take place on 19th of June in Switzerland. Back to you.
All right, Pradhan, appreciate you joining us. We take a short break. Be right back.